Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Kara and I'll be leading you through the next 60 minutes of your yoga practice today. I want to thank you so much for joining me and also remind you to thank yourself for giving yourself this hour that is just yours today. So let's try to find a quiet place and meet together in child's pose, Balasana. Bring your knees and the tops of your feet to your mat, and then sink your hips down onto your heels. With your arms, you can stretch them far out forward in front of you with your palms face down, or if that puts too much pressure on your shoulders, feel free to bring them back behind you by your sides with your palms face up. Either way, keep your forehead resting on the mat in front of you. Close your eyes. You can open your mouth and connect to your breath. Your knees can either be together with your belly resting on them, or they can be spread far apart with your belly allowing itself to expand. With every inhale, feel the backside of your body spread apart, and every exhale, feel your body sink deeper into the mat. Inhale, expand. Exhale, release. Set your intention for practice. That could be to connect to your breath. It could be to be kind to yourself, to quiet your mind. I urge you to think about this. Think about expanding, taking up space. We're stuck in our homes right now. We're confined. Think about this little rectangle of your mat blossoming with your energy today. Take a deep exhale, let everything out. And a deep inhale, fill your body up with sweet breath. At the top, take one more sip, and on an exhale, give an audible HA. If your arms are not already out in front of you, spread them out in front of you and spread your fingertips wide. Begin to wiggle them, bring movement and life to your arms. You can rock your forehead back and forth on the mat. And when you're ready, come up onto your hands, onto all fours. Your hips over your knees, your shoulders over your wrists, and give yourself a few cat-cows. So on an inhale, stretch forward to the ceiling, and on an exhale, bend the body. Inhale, look up, let the belly button drop towards the floor, and on an exhale, the belly button comes back into the spine. One more inhale, look up, and exhale, round the back of the body. Create space between those vertebrae. Then give yourself some organic movements, whatever your body needs today. The body is different every day. Every time you come to your mat, you could feel something completely new. You can stretch your arms, roll your shoulders. Everything that I say is a suggestion. Yoga is not about being perfect. It's just about connecting to the way your body is today. So give yourself some body rolls. Do the right side first and then the left. Remember, the body is not symmetrical. What you feel on one side, you might not feel on the other. And when you're ready, come back to a stable tabletop position, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Bring the hands just a little bit in front of the body and press into all four corners of the palms. Then tuck the toes and lift the hips towards the sky into our first downward facing dog. Now, wrap the biceps away from the ears, bringing the shoulders away from those ears. Broaden through your back body. Lift the heart into the shoulders. Your hips are going high to the sky, and the backs of the knees should try to point towards that back wall. Root your heels down to the ground. If you need to bend your knees as much as you need to. It's more important for those heels to drop down than for your legs to be straight. Move around as you need to before cleaning this up and settling into this non-resting, active downward dog. Take a deep, deep breath. And then exhale, Ha-H-A. Now take 3 more deep breaths on your own. When you've had your last exhale, on an inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky and go for length before height. Bend your foot, flex your heel, and then lift it all the way up to the sky. Open the hip, roll the ankle, stretch out that side body. Now on an inhale, flip your dog. Again, we're taking up space. So we have both heels to the ground, both knees are bent, knees are over ankles, the left shoulder is over the left wrist, and the right wrist reaches to the sky, opening the front of the body. Take an inhale, exhale, come back to downward dog. That leg can do whatever it needs to do to stretch, and then the foot comes back to the mat. On your next inhale, repeat with your left leg. So first, again, go for length. Flex the foot. Heel is shooting energy out to the back wall. Then when you're ready, go for height. Send that leg all the way up. Bend the knee. Rotate the hip. And then on an inhale, flip your dog. Bring both feet to the mat. Stretch your arm up to the sky. Opening the front of the body, opening the heart, taking up space. If you're practicing with someone else and you run into them, say hello. Give them a high five, socially distant. Look up towards the sky one more time. And then bring yourself back. Lift the leg again. And the heel comes down to downward dog. Exhale. On an inhale, look forward to the front of the mat. And then on an exhale, step the feet up to meet the hands. Find yourself in your first forward fold. So plant the feet about hips width distance apart on the mat and allow the top of the body to just hang. This is forward fold, Uttanasana. You can clasp elbows for ragdoll. Allow the head to shake yes or no. Swing the body back and forth. Bend the knees as much as possible. When you're ready, take an exhale. On an inhale, come into a half lift. Feel one line of energy from the back of the neck all the way to the hips. You can place your hands on your shins or up higher on your thighs, just not on the knees. Exhale down to forward fold, let it go. On your next inhale, come all the way up into mountain Tadasana. Feel all 4 corners of your feet root into the earth. Set your hips over your heels, your shoulders over your hips, and raise your arms, palms facing each other, over your head. Sink your shoulders down into your back, close your eyes, and breathe. Mountains take up space. Find your center. You can sway forward or back, left or right. Take one more deep inhale. And on an exhale, swan dive down back into forward fold. On an inhale, come up into half lift, back straight. Exhale, plant the palms, step the feet back into an upper push-up plank, and pause. Let's make sure that our back is straight, quadriceps are engaged, glutes are engaged, and your shoulders are stacked directly over your wrists. On an exhale, bring the body halfway down, chaturanga. On an inhale, bring the chin forward, look up, straighten the arms, untuck the toes, upward facing dog. And on an exhale, hips high, heels down, downward facing dog. This is our flow from upward push-up plank to lower push-up plank, upward facing dog to downward dog. We'll be doing this a few times during class. Take an inhale, exhale. On your next inhale, raise your right leg high and then step it through your hands. If you need to move your foot in between your hands, that's okay. Stack your right knee over your right ankle and then spiral the back heel down so it's at a 45-degree angle, pointing towards the upper left corner of your mat. Bring the torso up, arms raised, palms facing each other, pinkies turned slightly in to send the shoulder blades down the back. Square the hips towards the front of your mat, and you're in your warrior one. Your knee is stacked directly over your ankle. The back leg is tight. Bring your back hip forward and your right hip back so that those hips are directly in line. And then sink down, close your eyes, take up space. Inhale. And on an exhale, bring your hands down to frame your foot. Step your right foot back and go through your flow. Upward push-up plank to chaturanga, and then upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Once there, on your next inhale, bring your left foot up. Raise it up to the sky. And then step it through your hands. Again, if you need to, move it. And on an inhale, shoot your arms up. Warrior one, other side. Again, keep those hips facing forward. Knee is directly over your ankle, and the back leg is active. That heel is pressing into the ground. Your hip is pulling forward. Heart is opening up. Wiggle your fingers, keep them active. They are shooting energy out. Take another inhale. Exhale, bring the hands down to frame the foot, step the foot back, and flow. On your up dog, make sure to engage your quads. They should be lifted off of the mat. Don't sink, that hurts your lower back. Once in downward facing dog, take a deep breath. Exhale, HA. On an inhale, lift your right leg, step it through your hands, spiral your back foot down, and then bring your arms up into your warrior one, and then open up into your warrior two. So bring the right arm forward, left arm back, palms face the floor. If you need to, you can spread your legs a little bit wider. They don't have to be heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. If you need more room for your hips, that's okay. Your hips do not need to absolutely point towards the side of your mat. Find a place that opens your hip but is comfortable. And then sink into this position. Engage the back leg. Feel all four corners of both feet pressing into the mat. Engage your arms. Stretch. Take up space. And on an exhale, spiral your hands down and go through your flow. Once back in downward facing dog, let's do that same thing on the left side. So on an inhale, raise your left leg up to the sky. On an exhale, plant it between your palms. On an inhale, rise up into warrior one. And on an exhale, spread into warrior two. Adjust your feet how you need them to be so that your hips are facing the top right corner of the mat. Your left knee is over your left ankle and your right hip is pulling back. Your right heel is planted into the mat. Take a look back at your right arm to see that it's in line with your left. And spread your arms. Keep them active, as if you're being pulled from two sides of the room. Remember, expand. Take up space. Take a deep inhale. And on your exhale, spiral your hands down to the mat and go through your flow. Upper push-up plank to lower push-up plank chaturanga. Upward facing dog into downward facing dog. On your next inhale, raise your right leg up. On an exhale, step it through your palms, spiral the back heel down, and rise up into your warrior one, palms facing each other. Then on an exhale, expand into warrior two. Keep the back leg active. Press all four corners of the feet into the mat. Flip the right palm. Lean forward just a little bit and then arch the body as if you were trying to draw a line on the ceiling and lean back for reverse warrior. Think of this as more of a side body stretch and less as a back bend. The back arm can be either on the thigh or the calf, not on the knee. On an exhale, switch to extended side angle. Stretch the arm and create one line of energy from the fingertips all the way down to the back foot. Exhale. Inhale, reverse warrior. Look up to the sky. Exhale, extended side angle. If you'd like, you can bring the lower arm down to a block or to the ground, but if not, this is fine. Inhale, back into your warrior two. Find space. And exhale, windmill your hands down to frame your foot, step your foot back, and flow. On your next inhale, raise your left leg up to the sky, and then step it through your hands. Spiral the back foot down, rise up into warrior one, expand into warrior two. Find stability in your feet, in your legs. And once you feel stable, flip the front palm. And reverse your warrior. Again, you can bring your right arm to your calf, to your thigh, or if you'd like to bind, you can bring it all the way around your back, opening up your left hip. Look up to the sky. Feel the side body stretch in your left side. Inhale. Exhale, bring the left elbow to the left knee and raise the right arm overhead, creating one line of energy. Try not to sink into the left shoulder, but instead use the right side body to lift. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Remember, take up space. Where is the breath? Where is the mind? On an exhale, come back to your warrior two. Take another minute just to be in this pose. And on an exhale, windmill your hands down to frame your foot, step your foot back, and go through your flow. Good. Take an inhale. Exhale. HA. On your next inhale, raise your right leg, then step it through your hands, but leave your back heel up. We're going into our crescent lunge, so keep the hips pointing towards the front of your mat. Bring the torso up and stretch the arms back. Bring space between the shoulders and the ears. Look down at your toes, keeping the back of the neck long. Keep the power in your front knee. Your front knee is directly over your ankle. If you'd like, you can press your palms together for an extra shoulder stretch, opening up the chest. Or if this is too much for you, you can always come to putting your palms at heart center. Either way, take this crescent power lunge and find space. On an inhale, bring the arms all the way up, palms face each other. And on an exhale, bring the hands down to heart center. Keep the back leg active, heel is lifted. If you need to spread the legs a little bit further apart for balance, that's okay. They should be more like on train tracks and less than on a wire. On an inhale, reach back, and on an exhale, bring the left elbow to the right knee for a gentle twist. Keep the hands at heart center, or you can stretch the arms up and fly away. Feel this stretch in the lower back. Use the hands to press the upper body and look up towards the ceiling. On an exhale, come back, hold, find balance, find peace. You might be shaking, that's okay. Raise the arms up towards the sky and then down, frame the foot, bring the leg back and flow. Those times when the muscles are shaking, when that fire is ignited, those are exactly the times that we need to find peace, that we need to connect to our breath the most. On an inhale, raise the left leg. On an exhale, step it through the hands. Keep the right heel lifted. Left knee directly over the left ankle. And then rise up into your crescent lunge. This is a variation of crescent lunge. I like to call it power lunge. Stretch the arms back so much the fingers are active. Engage the core, lift the torso off of the hips and the thigh. Try not to sink into the thigh. Think of the back of your right knee as stretching towards the ceiling. The back of your leg is active. On an inhale, bring the arms up, palms face each other. Exhale, stay. On your next exhale, bring the arms down, palms pressed. And then prepare your legs for our twist. Inhale. On an exhale, bring the right elbow to the left thigh. And then you can stay right here, or you can fly away, lifting the left arm up, right arm down. Try not to sink into the right side body. Keep the core engaged to protect the lower back. Keep the back leg engaged. On an inhale, come back, find peace, find calm. And on an exhale, bring the hands down, plant the palms, step the foot back, and go through your flow. Once back in downward facing dog, reconnect to your breath. If you need to take child's pose at any time during this practice, please do. There is no shame in resting. On your next inhale, raise your right leg. On an exhale, step it through your hands. Keep the back heel lifted again, and the right knee over the right ankle. On an inhale, come up into your high lunge. Again, you can have the arms behind you. You can grasp your fingers, open the shoulders. Let's eventually meet with the arms overhead in a high lunge. Now bring all of your awareness into your forward foot. Bounce your back foot just a little bit, and then on an inhale, shoot your energy forward, your arms forward, your back leg comes up off the ground, and your body creates a giant T. Bring your torso up and keep the standing leg straight. Pull up on the knee, on the quadricep, and the back leg is lifted into Warrior 3. You can keep the arms back behind you, you can put them at heart center, or for a little bit of an extra challenge, you can stretch them out in front of you for the full extension. Take one big breath here, and on an exhale, bring the body down into a standing split. Reach the lifted leg high. Work on your balance. If you'd like, you can move the hands to the standing leg's ankle. Inhale, and on an exhale, bring the lifted leg down to meet the other. Your feet should be about hips width distance apart. Find all four corners of your feet. Find stability. And then on an inhale, give a half lift. Bring the hands to either the shins or the thighs. Exhale, forward fold. On your next inhale, sit your hips low, arms raised, Utkatasana chair pose. Keep the knees directly over the ankles. The back side of the body is straight. The hips sink as if you were trying to sit into a tiny chair. If If putting your arms over your head stresses out your shoulders, bring your arms down to heart center. That's no problem. But if not, try to get your biceps rotated in and away from your ears. Rotate your pinkies in to let your shoulder blades drop down the back side of your back. Close your eyes and breathe. Take one more inhale here, and on an exhale, let it go, forward fold. On an inhale, find a half lift, reset. Exhale, forward fold. And on your next inhale, back up. Second set, Utkatasana, chair pose. Arms are lifted high, hips low. You should be able to lift just your toes off the ground. Open your chest. Think less of bending forward and more of bending back. Think of Tadasana, mountain pose, in the top half of your body. Take one more inhale. And on an exhale, stand all the way up into Tadasana. Give yourself a nice little back bend, and on an exhale, down into forward fold. Good. Let it go. Now move your feet together. Inhale into a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Now listen carefully. On an inhale, step the right foot back. Keep the heel lifted. The hips are facing the same direction, the top of the mat. Left knee directly over left ankle. And then bring the torso up into that crescent lunge. Arms stretched back behind the body. Right leg straight, as straight as you can. Bend the knee if you need to. But think of one long line of energy coming from the crown of your head, shooting out the right heel into the ground. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Stretch the heart forward. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the arms overhead into crescent lunge. And again, bring the awareness into the left foot. You can bounce if you want to, bring a little bit of energy into it. But exhale, and then inhale, shoot the body forward, lift the right leg, bring the arms back, warrior three. The body looks like a giant capital T. Keep the standing leg engaged, pull up on the kneecap and the quadricep. The floating leg, the foot is engaged. Heel shoots towards the back wall. Open the heart. Then stretch the arms out overhead. Inhale. Exhale, bring the hands to frame the foot. Lift the right leg towards the sky for your standing split. Find your balance. Exhale, bring the foot down to meet the other foot and shake it out. Now bring your feet together. Big toes and heels touch. And zip up the legs like a zipper. You can bend the knees if you'd like. Exhale everything forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Press the palms, only releasing the thumbs to cross. And on your inhale, sit your hips back again and reach your arms overhead for thunderbolt. This is a variation of chair pose. It's the same thing we just did, except this time the knees are pressing together, the inner thighs are pressing together, the hips are still leaning all the way back into our tiny chair. Bring the arms towards the ears, biceps turned in, and press your palms together. Bring your palms down to heart center. Inhale. And on an exhale, bring the left elbow to the right thigh. Look down and make sure that your knees are still in line. One knee isn't jutting out from the other. We want to keep our hips in alignment, facing forward. Adjust your knees, and if you can, look up towards the ceiling. Breathe. On an exhale, come back to center. One more, you're almost there. Inhale, and then exhale. Bring the right elbow to the left thigh. Keep the weight in the back heels. Keep the weight with the hips dropping towards those heels. Open the heart towards the left side of the room. If you can, look up towards the ceiling. And on an exhale, bring it all back to center. And let it go, forward fold. On an inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step the legs back, and go through your flow. On that upward facing dog, stretch those quads. Downward facing dog, stretch those hamstrings. Pedal your feet out if you need to. Find your breath. On your next inhale, raise your right leg to the sky. On an exhale, step it through your hands, spiral the back heel down to the earth, and raise up into Warrior 1. Open up into Warrior 2. Check where your body is. Knee is over ankle. Back leg is engaged. Arms are straight and engaged, gazing over your right fingers. And then straighten the right knee as much as you can. Don't lock the knee, but straighten. So both legs are now straight. The front leg is still pointing directly towards the front of the mat. Lean the body forward and rest the right hand either on the shin, the foot, a block, or your mat. Raise the left arm up. Triangle pose. Look up towards the sky. Open the body up. Remember, you're creating space. To come out, bend the knee, and then come right back into Warrior 2. Now, move the right foot so that both of your feet are now facing the side of your mat. Arms are in the same place. Hips are facing the side of the mat. Everything is in one line. And then begin to bend forward, like that flat back forward fold, but this time our legs are spread wide apart. Once you get down to the ground, you can place your hands directly in front of your face. You can put them on your heels. You can use your arm strength to pull your upper body down towards the mat. But let your torso go. Pull up on the kneecaps and engage the quadriceps to allow the back side of the legs to be long, creating space in the hamstrings, in the vertebra of the back. Let your head hang heavy. Shake it yes and no if you'd like. Breathe. When you're ready to come out of this, bend the knees as much as you need and slowly roll back up. Extend the arms back out. Bend the right knee again, facing the right toes forward. Back into Warrior Two. Then windmill the hands down, step the right foot back, and go through your flow. Once back in downward facing dog, it's time for your left side. Lift your left leg up on an inhale, step it through your hands on an exhale. Spiral your back heel down and lift up into Warrior One. Expand into Warrior Two, keeping your left knee over your left ankle, engaging the right leg. Your hips point towards the top right corner of your mat. Take up space. Pull the belly in. Calm the mind. Feel your heartbeat. Inhale, straighten the left leg. Exhale, tilt the body down, left arm towards the ground. Again, it can either be on the shin, the foot, the ankle, a block, or all the way down to your mat. Lift the right arm towards the sky, and then if you can, gaze up towards that right hand. If not, keep your gaze either in front of you or down towards the mat. Breathe. Exhale and bend the knee, coming back to Warrior Two. Inhale, straighten. Keep the feet in line, heel toe them to a number 11. And then on an exhale, swan dive down slowly. Plant the palms. You can have another section of ragdoll here if you'd like. You can bring the arms back behind the back, opening up the shoulders. You can bring them behind the legs if you'd like, but just let the torso hang. Let it stretch. Create space. The backs of the legs are creating space right now. The fronts of the legs are creating space. The back side of the body is creating space. Your fingertips can be spread wide, creating space. On an inhale, bend the knees and come up. Exhale, bend the knee. Back into Warrior Two. Our last warrior. Windmill the hands down, step the foot back, and go through your flow. This will be our last flow of class. Think about how it's different from your first one. Once back in downward facing dog, bring the feet up to meet the hands and then roll up one vertebra at a time till you're up to standing. Find a comfortable position with your feet hips width distance apart. And then bring all of your attention to your left leg. Lift your right knee up as you shift your balance to your left leg. Pull up on the left kneecap, engage the left quadricep, finding your balance. Bring your hands to your hips. If you're comfortable there, you can move on to the next spot. Reach down with your two peace fingers and grab your right big toe. If you're comfortable there, you can stay. If you want one more step, Straighten out the right leg all the way in front of you, and then eventually out to the side for extended hand to big toe pose. Keep the hips in one line. Try not to let the right hip come up higher than the left hip. If you'd like to challenge yourself, try to keep that leg up while you let go and bring your arms overhead, and then come out of the pose the same way you went in. Knee back in front of you, bent, and then down to meet your left leg. Shake out whatever happened on that side and get ready for the other side. Remember, our two sides are not the same. Bring your right hand to your hip and your attention to your right leg. Bring the left knee up. Find your balance. You can stay. If you'd like to move on, take your two peace fingers of your left hand down to your left big toe, and then extend your leg when you're ready. Keep your right leg straight. That standing leg should be straight, both of them. You look like an upside down L. Make sure you're not leaning too far forward. Keep the back straight. And if you'd like to come out to the side, lift the arms, let go, challenge the body. If you fall, that's okay. Falling means we're learning, we're growing. Come back out of the pose the same way you went in, and then shake it out. One more pose in our balance series. Stand with your feet together. Bring your attention to your left side. Bring your right hand out as if you were with your palm out. Your elbow is facing in, and grab the inside of your right foot. Bring your left arm above your head. And then as you kick with your right leg, stretch with your left arm. Think of this less as a back bend and more as if you're straightening that right back leg. If you had a mirror in front of you, you would be able to see your right toes start to poke up from behind your head, but only that. Keep your dancer pose for one more breath. And then come out in the same way that you went in. If you fall, that's okay. Get right back in it. If you don't fall, that's great. You always have another side. Bring your balance to your right foot. Stretch your left arm out, palm facing away. Grab the inside of your left foot. Keep your knees together to start off. And then raise your right hand. Palm faces in front of you, away from you. And then begin to tilt the body down, stretching forward. Keep engagement in both sides of the body. So the arm is engaged and the back leg is engaged. The standing leg is engaged. Focus on something just a few feet in front of you. Find stillness. If you fall, come right back. If you need child's pose, that's okay. Come out of the pose the same way we went in, and then shake it out. Bring the arms overhead, and then swan dive down. Release the back. Release the back of the legs. Release all of that tension. Balancing is so difficult, which is why we're going to do one more balancing pose. Place your feet together, heels together, toes can be slightly apart for tree pose. You can bring your right foot up to either your ankle or your calf, or if you'd like it a little bit higher, you can press the bottom of the right foot into the inner thigh of your left leg. Press hard. Keep the hips in one line. Try not to let one jut up higher than the other. And then keep the right knee out. We're opening that hip. Bring the hands to heart center and find your balance. This is tree pose. If you fall out, it's okay. I do. Just come right back. And think of how steady a tree is. Think of how deep its roots are. Think about how even in a storm, it might waver, but it still stands. If you'd like to challenge yourself, you can raise your arms over your head, wave your branches. If you'd like even more of a challenge, you can close your eyes. Feel all four corners of your feet rooted into the earth. Trees take up space. When you feel complete, bring your hands back to heart center. Release your foot down to the ground and shake it out. Prepare for your other side. Bring the focus to your right leg. Make that right leg strong, active, and then you choose on the left side. Maybe it's different than your right side. Maybe your balance is off. Whatever you choose, find stillness. Keep your hips in line. And then choose your own tree adventure. Raise your arms. Maybe your intention was just to be nice to yourself today. That's okay. You don't have to be the biggest, baddest tree. Quiet your mind. Close your eyes if you can. And then come out. Now come to the back of your mat, all the way back. And then fold your body all the way down to your toes. Swan dive or roll, whatever your back needs. Once there, let's all meet in downward facing dog. Lift your hips high, heels sink into the mat. Rock forward into an upper push-up plank, lower into chaturanga, upward facing dog. Your final flow. Back in downward facing dog, take one more deep breath. Exhale, HA. On an inhale, move forward into an upper push-up plank and then lower on a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Once there, let everything go. Untuck the toes, release the thighs. You can rock the hips back and forth if you need to. Let the arms rest by the sides. Palms face up. Bring the left ear to the mat. And allow the neck to relax, the shoulders to drop towards the mat. Close your eyes. Nothing to see, nothing to do. Feel your heart beating into the mat. Feel your back body expand with every breath. Exhale. On an inhale, bring your chin to the mat and reach your arms out by your sides. Exhale everything. And on an inhale, reach your arms all the way back and bring your legs up off the mat. Reach your chest up, arms up, legs up, toes pointed in Superman pose. Where you look, you will go. Look up to the sky, look up to the ceiling, up to the crack where the wall meets the ceiling. Keep your mouth closed. One more breath. Exhale, let it go. Arms down, legs down, the right ear to the mat. Absolute effort followed by absolute relaxation. Exhale. On your next inhale, second set, bring your chin to the mat. Wiggle your fingers. Exhale. Inhale, bring everything up. Start where you left off last time. Stretch your toes back to the back wall. If you like, you can keep your arms reaching behind you. You can bring them up to airplane arms like a T, or you can bring them all the way out in front of you. If you have them in front of you, reach your fingers. Your fingertips are active. They are shooting energy. One more breath. Exhale, let it go. Left ear to the mat. Absolute relaxation. Superman takes up space. You can take up space too. On an inhale, bring your chin to the mat again and reach your hands back to cup the outsides of each of your feet. Bring your knees together, bend your knees so your feet come off the mat. Exhale. And on your next inhale, lift everything up. Your legs kick, which brings your upper body up off the mat as your arms pull your feet. Bow pose. Again, look up where you want to go. Looking up means you go up. One more inhale, exhale. Let everything go. Ear to the mat. Breathe. HA. Bring your chin to the mat, your hands to your feet again. Exhale all of your air. And on your next inhale, reach your toes up, reach your knees up. The only thing that should be touching the mat is your lower belly and your hips. Reach your chest up, your heart up, your face up. The corners of your mouth up in a smile, up, and let go. On your next inhale, press your body up off the mat. Come to standing on your knees with your feet behind you. They should be about hips width distance apart. That's about 2 fists. If you need them to be wider, that's fine. Your legs are behind you. They look like the number 11. And stack your hips directly over your knees, your shoulders directly over your hips. And prepare for camel pose, one of our big back bends. Place your hands on your lower back as if you were going to put your hands into jean pockets, back pockets of your jeans. Then slowly begin to lift your heart towards the ceiling and look up. Think of this more as a lifting than a sinking, like your body is trying to bend over a giant beach ball. If you can see the ceiling, reach your arms back to try to touch your ankles. If you can see the back wall, try to touch your heels. Bring your hips forward, your quadriceps forward. Keep your eyes open and your mouth closed. Lips together. Breathe through your nose. On an inhale, come up the same way that you went in, slowly. Bring your hands to heart center and then sink back onto your heels. This pose can be very intense. It can bring up a lot of emotions. It can make you dizzy. That's okay. Allow your body to reset. Allow your heart to reset. Find quiet again. And when you're ready, reach your legs out long in front of you, sitting directly on your sick bones. Flex your feet. Think length in the spine first. Reach the arms up overhead and create another Tadasana, a mini mountain. When you're ready, exhale and lean forward, bringing the hands wherever they lay. If they only get to your knees, that's okay. If they get to your shins, great. If you want a more intense stretch and you really want to touch your toes, go ahead. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Feel the stretch in your lower back. Or if you want it to be more of a hamstring stretch, straighten your knees and maybe allow your body to bend forward over your legs. Relax your neck, relax your shoulders, relax your face. Sink into your seated forward fold. Exhale, HA. Inhale, expand. Exhale, release. Inhale, come back up. Arms overhead. Move to the middle of your mat so that when you raise your legs, you're right in the center. And raise the legs so that the calves are at parallel with your mat. If this hurts, you can keep your feet on the mat. But if you can balance just on your tailbone, try for boat pose. Bring the hands together in front of you and engage the core. If you'd like an extra challenge, straighten your legs. You're creating a V with your body. The tension should be in your lower belly and your core, not in your back. Raise the arms up. You can go towards the right or the left, or maybe do a few sit-ups if you'd like, if that's part of your practice. And when you're ready, bring the feet down to the mat. and then roll back vertebrae by vertebrae until every single vertebrae is on the mat. Bring the legs up overhead. And if you'd like to do another inversion, you may, but I love shoulder stand. So bring the legs all the way up. So you're just resting the body on your shoulders. Keep the head looking at your feet. Don't move it left or right, just straight ahead. You can use the arms to help lift the lower body, or you can flatten them down onto the mat behind you. Either way, have the hips over the shoulders, the ankles over the hips. If you'd like to go into plow pose, bringing the toes behind the head, or dead bug pose with the knees by the ears, you may. Whatever pose you need for this part of your practice. When you're ready, bring the legs down. And then vertebrae by vertebrae, lay all the way back. Bring the right knee in to the chest, right knee to right armpit, and hug the knee. And then switch, left knee in, right leg extended out. This is good for the digestive system. Then bring both knees in, hug them tight. Feel every single vertebrae in your back touch the mat. Squeeze, give yourself a hug. You can rock back and forth if you need to. I like to open up into Happy Baby, grabbing the outsides of the feet, spreading the knees wide, pressing the knees into the mat. You can make some faces if you'd like. Expand the mouth. Let the tongue hang out. Lion face. Ah. And when you're ready, extend your legs all the way out. Let the feet flop open. Let the arms lay by your side. Close the eyes. Shavasana is the most important pose in our yoga practice. We need it to solidify all of the work that we've just done. Thank yourself for coming to your mat today, for giving yourself this time. Think about your intention. Think about all the space you took up. And then take this with you in your day. Find little pieces of time, little pockets, when you can just take a minute and take up space. When you can stretch, whether it's at your desk, or in a class. When you're ready, bring your arms overhead. You can pedal out your feet, roll your wrists, roll your ankles. If you'd like to stay in Shavasana, you can. as long as you'd like. If you'd like to follow me, you can roll over to one side. Use one arm as a blanket, the other as a little pillow. And then inhale and come up to seated. Cross your ankles. Bring your hands to your knees with your palms face up, accepting the energy in the room. Thank you so much for taking this time with me today. Thank you for taking up space. Take one more breath together. Exhale, HA. Namaste.